Hey guys, it's Dr. Dave at Stronghold Health. I'm excited today to discuss with you this concept of acidity, or alkalinity, I guess you could call it. Both of them are valid terms when we're discussing pH levels in the body. pH is one of the 6 most important things that we have when we're addressing health issues. So if you boil everything down and you start looking at the human body as a cluster of cells, okay? Think about each of the cells in the body being like a person. You watching this right now, you have a bunch of different things that your body needs in order to maintain good health. One of them is taking food in, so eating things or drinking things for nutrients. So nutrients would be one. Number 2 is if you eat things, you have to be able to get rid of things. So number 2 would be not detox necessarily, but I don't know what the best word for it other than pee and poo-poo, right? So you have to be able to get stuff out of the body. So the ability to get rid of waste would be number 2. Number 3, we have to drink water fundamentally. Okay, so water is going to be the third thing that is important when it comes to our health. Now, number 4 is actually going to be nerve supply. So nerve supply is what's going to be the underlying control to every single organ and system in your body, right? And so on a cellular level, the cells in our body, each of those heart cells, skin cells, stomach cells, all of the different differentiated cells that make your body up require these same components. So number 4, they need nerve supply, which is why chiropractic care is so important. Number 5, they need oxygen. Just like we need to breathe and take in air, our cells in our body need to have the ability to get oxygen to the cell. And then number 6 is what we're going to be focusing on right now, which is pH. So pH is going to be the balance of proton electrons or hydrogen protons in the body. So pH is terms that you've probably heard and are familiar with. Maybe you remember it from chemistry class or maybe you don't, but how acidic or how alkaline our body is. And so pH is a specific measurement that has a logarithmic scale, and for a visual aid, it has a good color reference where our bodies live at a happy medium or happy balance for a healthy pH level, right in the middle. In fact, about 7.35 to 7.4, somewhere in that ballpark. Throughout the years, scientists in many different research articles have discovered that having inadequate levels of pH or having your pH at the wrong end of the spectrum can lead you to create more inflammation, have a more difficult time regulating inflammation response in the body, and overall develop many different diseases in the body. In the Merck Manual of Disease, there's over 23,000, if not more, it's probably been updated since I last looked at it, of diseases that are known to man. And out of those diseases, 97% of them start with inflammation as being the underlying cause or the underlying mechanism that starts that disease process. And then we just call diseases different names based on where the inflammation is and what organ or what system in your body it's affecting. So with that being said, pH. What's the deal with pH? Well, our body needs to be in the middle, 7.35. And the things that we eat, the things that we drink, the things that we put into our body from our skin, that get absorbed through our skin, the things that we breathe in, all these environmental factors, both from the outside and on the inside of our body, have the ability to influence the pH levels of our cells and organs in our body. So pH becomes a very important topic, and it's probably one that isn't talked about a whole lot by different doctors. As a quick reference, when you drink wine, wine is actually pretty acidic. So when you start going this direction on the scale, and you start going lower with the pH numbers, the lower you go, the more acidic it is. The higher you go on the pH scale, all the way up to 14 being the highest, is the most alkaline that you can go. So you have all the way on 14 drain cleaner being one of the most alkaline substances that we can think of. And then all the way down here Pure hydrochloric acid at 0. That's the stuff that completely eats things away and decomposes them. Soda, when you drink soda, is typically right in between here at about 2.5. Coffee is a little bit more acidic at a pH of 5. And when you get to baking soda, it's a little bit higher, it's a little bit more alkaline. And then soap and bleach are going to be really, really high up there, and they're good at cleaning things. So similarly, the more alkaline our body is, the better our body is able to regulate inflammation, get rid of junk, and clean things out. But on a cellular level, we're talking about our body being a cluster of cells. 78 trillion cells is a good estimate, but it could be anywhere from 78 trillion to 85 trillion cells compose your body. And those cells differentiate to make different organs and different systems, such as your heart, your lungs, your stomach. Your stomach cells are going to be different than your heart cells, and all that happens in the womb when you're developing. The fundamental, though, is each of these cells still has to have a healthy pH in order to maintain good health. And when the cell is exposed to improper pH levels, too acidic or even too alkaline, that cell can become damaged. And when the cell becomes damaged and then replicates and divides, you have diseased, damaged cells that continue dividing. Your body will try and wall those cells off into a cluster, typically what we might call a tumor. And then how diseased or how damaged those cells continue to replicate, or how rogue they go, would determine whether or not that tumor stays as benign or becomes a metastasized tumor or malignant. So yes, I'm talking about cancer. Cancer is going to be one of the many diseases that inadequate pH levels can produce in the body. So anyway, that's just a little overview on pH. We want to live in the middle, 7.35. That's where our body's happy. It can vary very, very slightly, anywhere from 7.29 all the way up to 7.41, which doesn't sound like it's a whole lot, but here's the thing about the pH scale. In order to move one position on the pH scale, to go from like 1 to 2, for instance, when I move in this direction, I'm becoming more alkaline, less acidic. But to go one step is a factor of 10. So it's because it's a logarithmic scale. So for instance, if my body is happy pH of 7, and I do a pH test and it says I'm a pH of 6, it means I'm 10 times more acidic than what I should be for a healthy pH level. So every step you go is a multitude of 10. In other words, if I go down to 5, it's 2 10s. So it's 10 times 10 more acidic. So from 7 to 5, I'm 100 times more acidic. From 7 to 4, guess how many I am now? 1,000 times. So it just gives you an idea of the expansive capability when you start stepping numbers on the scale in terms of how much more alkaline or how much more acidic I am. So pH scale ranges from 0 to 14. Our body's healthy in the middle at 7.35. And the things that we do, the foods that we eat and all that kind of stuff, are going to have the ability to affect our pH levels and move us off the scale in one direction or the other. And our encouragement is to always be pushing our body towards alkaline end of things, which is one of the reasons why we recommend alkaline water and sell alkaline water here at our clinic, and also why I drink it at home religiously. So with that being said, this is the introductory video to pH and why pH is important to our body. We had 6 fundamental things that the cells in our body need, and pH is going to be one of them, a healthy, balanced pH level. Hope this is helpful, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.